I rename them later, so that's okay. Look at this. Buying new, if you're ever not sure, what should I tax it? It says yes to both taxes. So it's 12%, correct? Buying a used from a dealership, what does it say? Yes and yes. So you still pay 12% when you're buying from a dealership. When you're buying private, some of you already know this, you save a little bit of tax because you don't pay the GST portion, you only pay the RST, or what we used to call PST. And so that's what we're going to talk about today, and we're going to have to account for that. Watch this. The safety, I talked about it a day or two ago. The safety, every car needs one. No RST, right? But it says yes to GST. And what's GST? It's only 5%. So it gets a little tricky, but you can always come back here and check. Materials and labor, if you ever get something installed on your vehicle, you pay 12% tax. And lien search, which I will explain later, no taxes. Watch that. There's no GST or RST, sorry, and no GST. So this is always available to you. You don't have to guess. Okay? But my formulas kind of take care of that. So you won't really check that, in my opinion, very often. So here's fill in the blank before we start. I just have my 14, right? I said 14. Okay. So the biggest thing when it's a used vehicle is they have to tell you whether it's private or dealership. They have to tell you that. So if it's from a dealership, it's going to be 12%. If it's private, it's going to be 7%. Okay. Some definitions. MPI. That stands for Manitoba. I'm sure you've heard that one on the radio or you've seen ads, right? Manitoba Public Insurance. It's a crown corporation, which means it's owned by the government. You can buy insurance online or through an autopack agent. This is important here. An autopack agent is what we call an insurance broker. Have you ever heard of an insurance broker? They're not broke. If that's what you're thinking, that's not. They're actually doing very well. But they sell you insurance. So it's kind of like a superstore for insurance. You go in there, it's like, oh, I want house insurance, I want car insurance, I want life insurance. They just sell you insurance. That's what a broker is. So don't overthink it. Safety inspection. Prior to insuring a vehicle, it needs to pass safety, right? The car will need to pass safety. There's that COI. It is valid for 12 months. So I'll write that down. The document has 3 copies, a white, a pink, and a yellow. The reason I put this in is because I got this wrong when I bought my car not too long ago. The person buying the car gets the white copy. I bought my car, and the guy gives me the pink copy, and I was like, I guess, sure. And then I go to Autopack, and they're like, can't insure it. You got to have the white copy. I was like, oh my goodness, I have to drive back, go get the white copy. So just make sure you get the white copy. TOD stands for Transfer of Ownership. Wait. Oh, Transfer of Ownership, sorry. Document, that's what that stands for. This document is required, and like the person needs to sign that and give it to you. The bill of sale, it's a legal document that lists the name of all parties involved, including the VIN number. That's very important. VIN number is like the barcode of a car. You can get a template online from MPI. Just Google bill of sale MPI. Boom, it's going to give you a PDF document. You can print it, and you have it. Purchase price is the actual value paid for the car. It may be more or less than the book value. I will highlight that part. What in the world is the book value? And I'll tell you. The book value, right, is the value based on the car's make and age. And here's where I'm going to switch colors. The book value most of the time does not reflect the actual market value. It does not. It's kind of like an Autopac's way of kind of having a rough estimate of what your car should be worth. It provides a reference point. That's all. You can, if you're thinking of buying a car, you can call one of the brokers, insurance brokers. Just go MPI broker in my area. Call them up. It's like, hey, I would like to. I'm wanting to buy a Toyota Corolla or whatever, Subaru Impreza or whatever, and they'll ask you what's the year, what's the model, and you give them that, and then they'll say, well, this is our book value. This is what we think it's worth, and it gives you a little bit of an idea of what to expect. Maybe the person is, usually the book value is lower than what the actual car is being sold for, just so you know. Trade-in. I think you all know what a trade-in is already. Moving on. Parts and labor. Any repairs or work done, as well as parts being replaced, are taxed PST and GST. Okay. A lien search. A lien is a claim or legal right against assets that are typically used as collateral to satisfy a debt. Okay? The lien is established by a financial institution, and the lien serves to guarantee an underlying obligation. There is absolutely no tax on a lien. And this is just me telling you, okay, for life. This is, I would strongly recommend that you perform a history check on the vehicle you're planning on purchasing. Carfax is a good website. I don't know, I think it's like $50, $60. I'm not sure. You can go and check it out. It will search for any reported accidents or damages. But what you need is a 17-character VIN number. And you can ask the person, even if you buy it privately, or if it's displayed. If somebody has it on a parking lot, you just go, take a picture of the VIN number, which should be like by the windshield, and you type that into this website, and it tells you everything about it. Because if it's stolen, sometimes they steal them in the US and they drive them up. And it buys them a little bit of time, right? So don't buy it if it's stolen, okay? Obviously. And if there's a lien on it, again, I'll just say this. This is your car. This will probably help you understand it much quicker. This is the bank. If any money is owed on this car, the bank has a chain on it like this, a virtual chain. And that virtual chain is the lien. So if you don't pay off your entire loan on this thing, the bank will always show up as the owner of that car in the system. And so once you pay this off, this chain gets taken off, and now it's legally yours. You can do whatever you want with it. You can sell it, you can drive it off a cliff. Don't do that, but you can do whatever you want. Okay, 15. I want to get onto the example. That's why I'm sometimes just going through these things, and then I come back to it if I need to review it, because I know you don't want to listen to me just yap about all these things the whole time, right? So the main difference between the two, like private or dealers, is that on a private sale you only pay the PST. We have to do this, right? It's now called the RST, right? The PST is due when you register the vehicle at the Autopac agent. It will be calculated based on the greater of either the actual purchase price or the book value. Can you highlight that? Autopac will take the bigger number. So let's say you and your friend strike a deal and it's like, hey, How about I buy it off of you for $1? Put it on the bill of sale, $1. And then I'll go to AutoPack and save taxes. They'll be like, nope, our book value says it's worth 5,000. You have to pay on the 5,000. Like they'll always pick the higher number to pay taxes on. Smart, isn't it? Anyways, so that's where this is. This statement is again on your formula sheet and it's there. So if you're not sure, it says it again here. The PST is calculated on the greater of the book value or the purchase price. Okay, formulas. You know what? I think I might give you a quick, I'll give you like 2 minutes. Once I explain these formulas to you, I want you to copy them on your study sheet. So you'll have a used vehicle section. Okay? Maybe don't copy them just yet because I'll add some little notes here. So I have a used dealer and a used private formula. Please tell yourself that because some students just write down UD, UP, and when it comes to exam time, they'll just pick one of them, right? So just tell yourself why they're called that. And watch this. If it's from a dealer, just like before, you figure out the sticker price, you take away the trade, then you go times 1.12. Plus, if there is a safety, we multiply it by 1.05. Now, why is that? Look up here. Safety, there's no PST, only GST, so there's a 5% charge on safety. So this is 5% GST only. That's why you're doing this. Plus, make sure you get the pluses right, because sometimes I have times, and it's like the cars ends up being like 4,355,000. I'm like, really? Right? It's plus, plus. There is a times here, right? And the bracket needs to happen first before you add, okay? Plus, if there are any mention of parts and labor, you just simply do as we always do, we add 12% taxes to parts and labor, and a lien search just gets added on, no taxes whatsoever, okay? 0% tax. On parts and labor, it's 12% tax, so I want you to know what each bracket is doing, okay? So this question, right? If you answer this is plus tax already. So what do I do here normally for you? I'll just say that this is usually not needed. Okay, when it's from a dealer, these things are usually not going to be on your bill because they will already have taken care of this. It'll be literally in the price of the car. Obviously they need to make that up, right? So watch this. A formula this ugly can literally, if they don't mention safety, don't mention parts and labor, don't mention lien, just gets down to that. Okay? So don't be thinking it has to be this long. It changes. What if a question only talks about parts and labor ever? It's just parts and labor. Cover up everything else and just remember parts and labor gets taxed 12%. Okay? So then you just come up with that part right there. Now, use private. That's when it gets a little trickier. Use private. So you would go purchase price. So obviously you will pay what you agreed to pay to the person selling. Then you go plus purchase or book, the greater of the two. You got to make sure you have this in there. So that's why the slash is in there. Times what? 0.07. So this is the RST, which is 7%. Okay? That's the RST. And so safety, right? Safety has 5% tax, GST. Parts and labor, nothing changes. right? RST, sorry. So you get the 12% tax on parts and labor if it ever mentions it, and then lien, no tax. Okay, no tax. Can I just say, I'm going to highlight this one right here. This one. Both formulas calculate the cost after tax. Do not add taxes again. Because some students, and I get it, you're nervous, right? Just this last exam, it didn't have a whole lot, but a student did all of this beautifully. Just plugged it in, calculated, had the number, and must have gone back to the question and said, oh, the question says after tax, and multiplied the whole thing times 1.12 again. You're double taxing yourself if you do that, right? So this already includes all taxes, right, that pertain to each component of this sale. Let's go to 16 and put this to the test. Oh, I told you I was going to give you some time to copy this. Copy this on your study sheet right now. Have a used car. Well, we'll see, and then tomorrow we'll keep going, right? We'll do a few more. So let's see here. Example 1 on page 16. You agree on a price of $12,999 for a used car. So there it is. We're not in the new car category. It's a used car, but you notice that it's at a dealership. So sometimes I throw in the dealership's name instead of saying dealership. So you know it's, right, just pick up on it. That's a dealership. You add a remote starter, and if the dealer offers you $3,500 for, so there's the remote starter, and the dealer offers you $3,500 for your old car. That is a trade-in. And I hope you catch that. How much is paid in total, including tax? Well, you go to your study sheet, right? And you find out that this is the UD scenario. And it's asking for sticker minus trade times 1.12. I'll do this just because I need you to know that for the first time here. This would be safety times 1.05 plus parts and labor times 1.12 plus lien. However, it doesn't mention anything about a safety, does it? No. So safety is gone. There's no safety. Parts and labor, you could argue that parts and labor, the $499 is parts and labor. That would be okay if you plug the $499 in here. But regardless if you put it in the sticker or if you put it in parts and labor, you will still tax it what? 1.12. So I will just say there's no parts and labor here because it's going to be taken care of there. And there's also no lien search. So this is what it comes down to. Sticker, maybe I'll do sticker separately. I think you're going to, these are your notes. So let's make one that's, so sticker would be $12,999 plus any like options. In this case, it was a remote starter. And that is $13,498.99. So that's my sticker price. Okay, and now I will plug that in here and take away the trade-in, add 12% taxes. $3,500 for the old one. Please, I know the temptation is to just type this in just like that, but maybe let's do one more line here. If you subtract this, it ends up being $9,998.99. Now we're ready to add taxes to it. And that would be $11,198 0.87 cents. Done. I can guarantee you that if you had said, well, $499.99, that remote starter, to me, that's parts and labor, so I'll just do that in here. I can tell you're going to get the same answer. So don't be stressing over that. As long as you're not putting the $499 in the sticker price and here, because that'd be double charging. You'd be buying two remote starters, right? So you just got to be careful when that happens. Example 2. Joel finds a Jeep Wrangler for $24,900, owned by a private seller. So there's the private seller. It's a private sale. And we're just assuming that it's used, right? The book value, they have to give you the book value when it's a private sale. There's no way around it. Notice that the dealership didn't have that, right? And then Joel pays $65 for safety. And there's a $30 lien search. Calculate the total cost of purchasing the vehicle after tax. UP, it's asking for purchase price. You do not have to write out the formula on a test or exam. And then this is purchase / book times what? What does your formula say? I hope it doesn't say 1.07. It's supposed to just be 0.07. Plus, it says safety, and safety gets taxed 5%. There we go, 1.05. Plus, there are no parts and labor, correct? Sorry, I'm mixing it up. My bad. Let's just go safety here. Sorry about that. Safety plus parts and labor times 1.12 plus lien. Okay. There are no parts and labor mentioned here, so you just get rid of that. So here we go. Purchase price is what? What you agreed to pay. Plus, which one is greater between the two? The book value is correct. So that's what goes in here. Some students think, oh, there's a book value. The book value always goes in here. No, only if it's greater. So there we go. Plus safety, which is 65 times 1.05, plus the lien just gets added on like that, 30. It doesn't get any taxes. 24,900 plus. You honestly, I tell you how this goes. You go to your AutoPack agent to insure your car, and that's when you pay this price right here. They're gonna go, oh, the book value is higher, times 0.07, and they'll tell you owe us $2,240 right now on taxes. Okay, you pay that at the AutoPack agent. There's one by Garden City Mall or close to, right? Plus 65 times 1.05, that'd be 68.25 plus 30. I don't know why I put the 2240 in brackets, to be honest. It's overkill. We don't need the brackets anymore because we've already calculated. And here we go. Now you're there. You're very close. So I'm just going to add up everything. There you go. Includes all taxes. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but a lot of things aren't taxed in our province. Did you know that? If you go grocery shopping, your bill could be $300 and you might only be paying $5 in taxes. Because any produce, milk, meat, anything that isn't processed is basically tax-free. Bread. So when they have the no tax sale at Superstore, people like flock to the store. I'm like, you're only saving $5, right? Like, it's not, unless you buy a lot of processed stuff or you buy a TV or an Xbox, but then oftentimes those are excluded from the promotion, right? Because they know what they're doing, right? So there it is. This is an example where it was a private sale. You had to watch out for this, okay? This one is greater. I'll highlight that. That's why I put the 32,000 in here, because it is greater. That's it. If the book value had been 20,000, let's say, you use the actual purchase price. So the purchase price shows up here and there. Shows up twice in your calculation. All right? Clear? Let's do the taxes only, and then I'll be done for today. How much did Joel pay in taxes only? So this is the price of the car and taxes, everything, just the taxes. Watch what I do here. Use private. I'll just take the 2240. That is a PST. Plus, I'll go 65 times 0.05. I won't go times 1.05 because I just want the tax portion of this. So it's 2240 plus, you can probably do the mental math, right? From 65 we went to 68.25, so it's 325 of a difference. So that's 2,243 and 25 cents. Do you like a highlighter? I don't know. I like, it's like, where did you get those numbers from? I literally grabbed the PST I paid, and this, you just know that I took this bracket, rewrote it without the 1 in front. So you're literally just finding the 5%. You're not finding 105%. That's it. Enough talking. I like to be fast, but if I go too fast, then it hurts as well. So I'm gonna say 17 to 18. You're gonna take it easy. So if you get most of it done today, you're good. So 17 to 18. I'm gonna write that down here. Because if I ask you tomorrow, did I assign 17 to 18? It's like, I don't know. I don't think so. And I'll just believe you, right? Yeah, just keep it to those pages.